All right, so let's have a look. So these characters are interesting. I don't know what references you used. You probably used the references from the PSD file I sent because they look like athletic characters, like some of the athletic characters in the lineup. But I'm not really seeing what I would say is that I'm not really seeing the exaggerations. Like I'm not seeing the like how you pushed. They look very realistic. Okay, apart from I mean, they all look realistic to me. This guy doesn't look so realistic, and this one, but the rest look sort of realistic. I don't know the reference. Like I'm not sure the reference. If you posted the pictures here, maybe it would have been easier for me to give you feedback. But I would think that I know you're from comics, like you have a background in comics. I don't know if you want to do realistic characters or if you want to stylize your characters a bit. But these ones are not very stylized. If you could push some of these things, if you could highlight the areas that you want to exaggerate a bit, it would be nice to to exaggerate those areas and see how they pan out. Again, I wish I had the references. I wish you shared the references. It would have been easier for me to give you feedback or notes. But your drawing generally is cool. Like you have a good sense of drawing. Like and your I can see. The only thing I'll say is that so for the example, this part now, where is the kneecap? So I think the kneecap has to be there because the feet is facing this direction, so the kneecap has to face the same direction. But then is it really comfortable for someone to stand like this? That's the question. I'm not really sold on the pose because for both feet to be facing out like this, it must be very uncomfortable for this guy to stand. So, I mean, I would suggest you go look at the reference again and come up with and do the proper drawings. Like evaluate yourself to see if you actually interpreted the feet to face because both feet are facing extreme right, like they're extreme ends, which is not very comfortable. If you try to stand like this, like you would probably fall down, or I don't think you'll be able to do this for up to 5 minutes. It's not comfortable. Um, then the knees, like details. Another thing I noticed about your drawing is that you tend to want to put details, and details are not they're not our friends. When doing figure drawing, you want to reduce your details as much as possible. For example, I see 4 marks here. You know, we don't want that. You want to just simplify everything maybe into one mass, like one giant kneecap shape like that. And then this is the muzzle there. Hi guys. So in the fall of 2025, I got to host an 8-week masterclass titled Ethnic Character Design for Animation, which had a decent number of signups. I got to share a ton of rich information, secrets, industry insights that I used to craft an award-winning character like Noni Eyes of Wakanda. The sessions were archived and compiled into a digestible course. The course will be available for purchase on Gumroad from 26th of February 2026. If you are an intermediate level artist seeking to diversify your portfolio to include culturally grounded characters in animation, then this is for you. Thank you for listening and see you on February 26th. Something like that. And then for this kneecap that is facing the camera means that this feet has to kind of face the camera. So I think the feet should be something like this. I think you should go back and look at the reference. I'm pretty sure that in the reference the feet was facing, it's almost facing in the camera, and then the logo of the shoe will be on the side like that, the stripes. This one, so I feel like this feet should also kind of face the front. I feel it should kind of face the front because it's not comfortable standing with both feet out like that. So this is just me correcting your drawing. I should be doing more than this, like showing you ways to exaggerate, because your drawings are somewhat realistic. So if your reference was here, I'd have probably just shown you ways that you can push this thing. That's that for this one. So the logo is going to be on the side like that. Then this one is, I see the stylization, like I see the deltoids, but so this part, we're not supposed to have this thing here, because that's not how the arm works. And at least maybe that's what you saw when you were drawing, but there are ways to draw things to look appealing, as opposed to just drawing everything you see. I think okay, so it looks like one hand is behind his back. One hand is behind his back like that. Yeah, he has a small chest. Right. Again, the knee. In reality, there are actually a lot of things that go on in the knee, because your knee is like this. The knee is actually a landmark area in the body, so we're going to see bones there. But our job, when doing figure drawing, is not to draw it exactly, not to draw exactly what you see, is to simplify things and find ways to simplify it. If you do one line or one curve just to indicate the knee, is better than like drawing the entire thing. So at least you can see that there's a knee here. I just indicated it with this and this. That's all. Same thing to this view. There's a knee there, but we didn't have to draw all the details. Maybe when next you're sending in assignments, try to send your references as well. Share your references so that it's easier for me. It's easy for me to give notes. Right. So this leg now can face this side because the knee is facing that side. So they are both facing, the feet is facing the same direction. This one is going to be foreshortened because it's kind of facing the front, and that's what you did, so it's correct. When drawing a shoe in foreshortened, when drawing a foreshortened shoe, I advise to simplify the shape into two parts. So this is the front of the shoe, and then this is the back of the shoe. When you draw it like this, it's actually easier for you. So now you can put if you want to put the sole, you want to put the sole there. Well, this is how I advise to draw shoes. Because when you draw it like this, you show that you understand that this thing is tridimensional. It has depths. So this is the front. This is the front. And this is the back. This is just a simplified way of drawing shoes. So that's what I try to do here. That's what I try to do here as well. Here and here. So always find simple ways to interpret what you're looking at. This guy, his shoulders look, they feel off. Maybe, let me see if I can fix it. I don't know what the reference is. I don't know what you reference, but I probably will be able to fix this by just drawing. Again, please, I've corrected a few people with this thing. Try to avoid doing this. Try to avoid drawing your deltoid like this, because what you're doing is you have two energies, two energetic lines moving in the same, like moving in opposite directions, and they will cancel each other out. Is if you want to draw, if you need to do something like this, give the indication with a tiny line here rather than drawing both lines out like this. So you need to try it. Either you do that or you draw the whole thing complete, like you join everything together. It's better to join everything or make it smaller than to do this, because this looks like something weird is going on. Like why should the two lines be coming too close to each other and not meeting? Like it's just so, it doesn't feel right. So the hands, like look at how you drew your hands. These hands are not properly drawn because your thumb is not high up like this, and then the hands, their measurements to the way the thumb looks. The knuckles, like this part of your thumb lines up with the knuckles. There are measurements to these things. In case you forget it, you can always look at your own fingers, like look at your own hands and you see it. So now this guy is standing in a very, very awkward position. Like I really don't understand his pose, because one leg is like the hip is bent this way, suggesting that he's leaning on this, the weight of his body is leaning on this leg. But then at the same time, this leg is not posed well. So I feel like this is how he should stand. And then this shoulder has to come out. It has to come out to match the other shoulder. You can draw this, the hands to be like this. Oops, sorry. This is the thumb. These are the other fingers. Okay, and then his hips. This hip is lower than the other one because he's leaning his body on his left leg. This is left leg. And his center, like where he's facing. So you see how this drawing, like the more I draw it, the more I draw on this, the more I realize that the foundation of the sketch is really, really faulty. Because I don't know I'm trying to find the center line of his body. I'm trying to find his pose. These things are kind of scattered. And this guy is supposed to be like an ecto body. Supposed to have like an ecto body. Just trying to draw this thing as quickly as possible. So I'm going to flip the canvas. So you see that there's just something weird about the way he's posing. Something weird about this pose. And then the knee is going to face out. because that's where his feet is facing. This is the knee, this is the leg that he's standing on. Actually, that leg should come forward like this. To the best of my abilities, I've tried to troubleshoot this pose. All right, so please take note of what I've shown you here. Last but not the least is spent a lot of time on this one, so I have to do just one more. Which one do I work on now? Let's say we work on this one. She's muscular. We want to keep that stout effect, like that stocky type of body. She has like a very stocky endo body. Oh, this guy is ecto. So let's keep the body intact. I like how you already did the you did your, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but this style is, there's a style to this, like the drawing is actually stylized, because I can see this a thick build. She has a very thick build. So what I'll do is, if I was going to exaggerate this thing, I'll maybe make her boobs small, because if everything is just big, then there's no contrast. And that's one thing I notice about your drawings, like most of them they're just so realistic that there's no contrast there's no contrasting parts. So making her boobs small could sell the idea of her being very muscular. So something like this. And this is her hair. I actually feel like her neck is too far. Like her head should be in the middle of, her head is not properly placed in the middle of the shoulder girdle. So this is the hip, and we want to stress the muscle, like how muscular her thighs are. I'm pretty sure that the reference you used had muscular thighs. So her knee is here, and we don't need to draw every detail, like just those two lines is enough to indicate where the knee is. Let's say we want to keep the same feet, or the same thickness of her legs. You can still do that. But again, like I said, if everything is just big, thick, then it may not be appealing without contrast. So we try to So for example, now instead of making her legs big, what if we give her a small feet? What if we give her a small shoe? Right? So something like this. Imagine she has a small shoe. So now all of a sudden it has a different, there's a different feeling to it. And then we can draw the boots, like whatever she's wearing. She's wearing a sneakers. Actually, I feel like this sneaker should be facing more of the side view. So what if we did the same thing to our hands as well? So instead of giving her big thick hands, let's say we give her small hands, something like that. Same thing too for the other hands. This is how I would draw this, or this is how I would suggest you push this. All right,